Let's talk to Chris Philp MP, Shadow Home Secretary. Chris, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
I mean, obviously all eyes on Israel this morning and Keir Starmer over in Egypt for this peace summit. But, you know, if I may, I'd quite like to ask you about this China situation, because we're told there could be an urgent question asked in the House of Commons this afternoon. What are you hearing about that?
Yeah, well, I've tabled an urgent question over the weekend. It's possible the government might do a statement instead, but they've got some serious questions to answer, because it appears, well, in fact, sorry, it doesn't appear, it is the fact that the government withheld vital evidence from the Crown Prosecution Service, evidence the government possesses, and the government's failure to provide that information caused the China spying prosecution to collapse. And the Director of Public Prosecution, Stephen Parkinson, has taken the unprecedented step of writing a letter confirming that, which demonstrates that what the government said in Parliament in September, where they denied all knowledge and denied any involvement in the collapse of the case, those claims are totally untrue. And of course the consequence of this is not only that two alleged spies get off scot-free, but also countries like China now think they can spy on the UK with impunity. This is really serious. The government have clearly done this because they're desperate for closer economic ties with China to try and fix the massive financial mess the Labour government has created. And in their desperation to roll over in front of the Chinese Communist government of China, in their desperation to roll over, they are prepared to sacrifice national security by collapsing this spy prosecution. And they're probably going to give permission for this Chinese super embassy, which is going to be a base for espionage activity into the bargain as well. They now have serious questions to answer. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has serious questions to answer. What did he know and when about the government's refusal to cooperate over many months with this prosecution? What role did Jonathan Powell play in all of this? Did he take that decision? Was he involved in the decision? Because if he was, he should resign. And if it wasn't him, who was it? Although I must say all fingers appear to be pointing in the direction of Jonathan Powell, who is notorious for his eagerness to kowtow to the Chinese Communist Party in exchange for better economic links. So a lot of unanswered questions. The government's story on this scandal has changed several times. They have said things which have then been shown to be completely untrue. So a lot of unanswered questions. And in fact, Keir Starmer should be today behind me in Parliament answering those questions, not running off to Egypt to try and claim credit for something that was not anything to do with him in the first place.
Well, I wonder about that. Have a look at Bridget Phillipson, because she was on Lord Kunsberg's show yesterday talking about what role, if any, Jonathan Powell had in all of this. And her language is rather curious. Have a look.
What I can say today, to be absolutely clear, is that he was not involved in the substance of the case and discussions around that, or the evidence connected to the case. I can give you that reassurance. He did not have those conversations around the substance or the evidence of the case. These are matters for the relevant authorities, the Crown Prosecution Service, and they date back to 2023.
I mean, I don't know what she means by he didn't have any conversations around the substance of the case or the evidence of the case. It sounds to me like that's lawyer speak for he had some conversations, but they weren't about anything that you're worried about.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, it's a very strange phrase, the substance of the case. It sounds to me like an evasive answer, not properly answering the question. I mean, what on earth does it mean, the substance of the case? It certainly wasn't a categoric denial that he had nothing to do with it. She could have said Jonathan Powell had nothing to do with it whatsoever. She didn't say that. Instead, she had this odd, evasive answer about the substance of the matter. That is very evasive, and it's about time the government started telling the truth. She also said in her answer, just then that you played, that it was all down to the Crown Prosecution Service. Now, that is not true. That is not true. It's a lie, because the Crown Prosecution Service head, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Stephen Parkinson, has written a public letter. In fact, he's written 3 public letters, but the most recent public letter makes clear that it was the current government's failure to provide the evidence required, despite being asked over a period of many months, which caused the prosecution to collapse. So when Bridget Phillipson said in that clip you played, oh, nothing to do with us, it was all the CPS, that is categorically untrue. That is a lie, and she should urgently correct that.
Yes, I mean, those are strong words. And do you think, Chris, that you'll get your urgent question this afternoon?
Well, I hope there'll be an urgent question or a statement by the government. They need to come to Parliament and explain themselves because they have said things, for example, what Bridget Phillipson said there, that are just easily provable to be untrue. Yeah. And they need to come to Parliament and answer these questions properly instead of engaging in these evasions and half-truths which rapidly unravel pretty quickly afterwards.
Yeah. Chris Philp, MP and Shadow Home Secretary, thank you very much indeed. Chris Philp there just accusing the Secretary of State for Education, Bridget Phillipson, of lying on national television. I think that's a pretty serious allegation. She needs to answer it. He says she's a liar. He says it's very easily provable to be untrue, and the government needs to be in Parliament this afternoon to answer these questions. Where's Keir Starmer? He's in Egypt, apparently trying to play a key role in something that nobody wants him to play a key role in, to be honest.